that's totally against the preaching they get, which causes trouble. So therefore, now, what happens then is, because this religion, which is taking reality they could not understand and shape it in a form where they could use in tranquilizing people and indoctrinating people to do their bidding. Once they are in that mode, they want to continue operating on people with this religion. When you're operating on people with the religion, you make them forget they have a mind. They become more or less like a robot. And when they are robots, you could use them to be slaves. They do dirty things for you in the name of Allah and in the name of Jesus and so on and so forth. They go on a plantation and work and do all this in the name of God and all the other stuff. Some of them are told, some of our people are told they were created to serve the Europeans and so on and so forth. All that came through this kind of dynamics of religion and indoctrination process. So what God has done now is to say all those claiming to be prophets have very little that qualify them to be prophets. So the real prophet will now be given, will be ordained and brought out. And people are going to recognize such a prophet by the deeds, by the results. It won't be by propaganda or any faith anymore. It will be through a proven reality. And that is, what you see happening. Anytime, engage a real situation, you will see the proof of that kind of dynamic. So now, that has contradicted the whole position before Gaga in terms of, there are so many prophets and so on and so forth and all this, and claim they were doing the kind of thing that God has now finally revealed in totality. So that's why it brings, we're back again to where we started, which is, not only are we back into the real search of reality, but that reality has been revealed through a formula, very precise formula. This takes the precision in the pyramid to the ultimate level, because the pyramid itself and its precision is buried in Etasoben, in Daga. I'm sorry, Mr. I think he's ready. I think you also joined in terms of it's tired. It's right on the ear. So,
but we gotta do we gotta do
Boko Haram.
Boko Haram.
All right. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
So the Boko Haram. Well, the issue with Boko Haram, first of all, Boko Haram says non-black education is a fraud. Okay? Which is true. That's what I've been describing all along.
Right.
Non-black, because they don't have enough brains to give anybody any education. They can't even educate them, let alone educating anyone else. Do you understand? When God revealed my intelligence to be infinite, and like I said, I think if I keep on repeating this enough times, you'll be more inclined to begin to study Gaga and begin to see what it is I'm talking about. The book is there. The ranking from Göttingen and everywhere. And again, what I was saying before, without Gaga in 1990, there would have been no Yale report. Absolutely no Yale. See, so in terms of you presenting, as much as it's tempting to begin with the familiar grounds for our people, or the Jim Crow, because our people have a more belief in the Jim Crow story than you have to give the chronology, because without one, the other didn't exist. The proof is, for 2,500 years, there was not a single time Jim Crow ever classified black people as being intelligent. Even when they do incredible things, they will have a way of ignoring it or do something. But after 1990, the whole thing changed.
Well, why did that bring about a change?
Yeah. Go ahead.
That forced Jim Crow
yes.
to recognize.
Yes. It's a new day. Well,
to recognize, to come up with a study that showed that black people were.
Sure. What happened was, when it came out in 1990, a year before I had been given a very big award in their system called the Associate Fellow of the American Institute of Aeronautics and Astronautics, which was a huge development. With my age and race and so on and so forth, it was incredible that such a young person can get that kind of an award, which people at MIT, when they're 2 days to their retirement, they will get an associate fellow in terms of their professorship, full professorship. So here is a black young man under about 40 or somewhere there, getting an award, okay? Under 40. And that shocked the hell out of them. Mm-hmm. So the next year, and what they saw that forced them to do that was something that was a prelude to Gargot. A year later, Gargot exploded. And there was a lot of talks and concerns about the dynamics. 85, less than 5 years, or a little more than 4 years. Before then, I was in Germany, the same Germany, but not the same school, University of Aachen, giving lectures that got my father so spiritually, elated, and so on and so forth. And even Kwame Ture, on another level was elated and so on. But what happened was, once Gargot began to come up, and I was engaging their very best in Cambridge University, a guy by the name of George Batchelor. He has since transformed on. George Batchelor was reviewing Gargot, a piece of Gargot. It wasn't really Gargot, it was what you call interim report on Gargot. That's Cambridge, that's a colleague of Stephen Hawking. They're in the same department, the Department of Applied Mathematics and Theoretical Physics in Cambridge University, a guy called Professor George Batchelor. Mm-hmm. And we were having a very explosive, how do you say it? Communication.
Yeah, exchange,
okay, extremely explosive. Now I know that somehow Stephen Hawking must be in the background somewhere, and they're very best in Cambridge when it comes, and through the wrestling, none of them could touch. You understand? They were just unbelievably touched. And the thing continued on the website called The Naked Scientist, mm-hmm. which is a Cambridge alumni and Cambridge graduates formed that website on behalf of Cambridge called The Naked Scientist, oneword.com. And they continued discussing it, for a long time. So once that began to evolve, and they had their very best review the work. As a matter of fact, in 1994, they assassinated my brother, Dr. Musa, as part of the retaliation and so on and so forth, and my family were under attack. In 1995, in a gathering of some of the finest mathematicians on the planet during that time, including a guy called Lee Siegel, Professor Lee Siegel, who has a PhD in mathematics from MIT and a well-renowned professor of mathematics. He attended George Handelman. These are legends of mathematics. A guy called Paul Garabedian, I've talked to you about him before. These were all gathered. And in the process, Gargot was actually presented, and none of them could touch it. That was in 1995. As that was happening, And Jim Crow was trying everything they can to derail Gargot and they couldn't do it. They saw the ethos of Ben, which is not only the fundamental geometry in terms of expression, the representation of everything, of all intelligence, because it had a parameter which is actually an intelligence quotient or level of intelligence, which is the N. Eta sub N, where N can go from minus infinity to plus infinity. The important is to go 0 to infinity. Now, that is a fundamental building block for building any reality. Well, that you can decode any reality. Otherwise called intelligence. And the N is the level of intelligence, which for me is infinity. That's why I can talk so much. That's why I can talk. So anyway, once they saw that, there was nothing else they could do. So they said, well, we can't touch Oyibo. Oyibo's out of sight. We can't touch it because the expression is there. And only a fool can even try to hold back a little bit. That's why I caution anybody, including yourself, because if you don't want to embarrass yourself, ask questions. It's better. And to say, well, I don't know. Well, if you don't know, it means you're so out of it that there's an expression. Eta sub N defines intelligence exactly, which nobody knew before Gargot. So when Yale was ordered by Clinton to go into the labs, they were being guided by this eta sub N, because in effect what they measured is equivalent with the N of the eta sub N. So what is called DNA, genetic, that is geometrically the level of intelligence. So, which is why when I decode it, when I read that paper and interpret it for people, I give them the raw data. Okay, the raw data is equivalent to take eta sub N and measure the N. I have the exact relationship, exact formula, exact decoding, exact expression for that intelligence, and I can tell you what eta sub 19 means. That's what the rest of the world have. The non-blacks have eta sub 19. Eta sub 19 defines their own intelligence. I know what level that is. The black people, on the other hand, have much higher, which is eta sub 28. I can show you the geometry. No human being else knows that except myself. So they're using DNA to really test it, because they've seen that with my situation, nobody can argue with it. I'm saying, and no mathematician or any real scientist can touch it. So that's when they arrived. Okay, let's check what the other black people and how those black people compare with the non-blacks. And that's how they came and said, well, the black people as a whole have eta sub 28, while the non-blacks have eta sub 19. And forever changed the whole perception of black people as being less intelligent. We're the most intelligent people, which the God order that could only have been ushered in by God, this case through Gargot, through revealing the totality of intelligence into the brains of one black person on behalf of not only the black people, but the entire human race and every other creature. Okay? So once God has done that, they had no choice, because they give their best to fight, but once the fight is over and they're saying they defeat, what usually is done by Jim Crow is to actually gather the pieces and try to move on from there. That's basically what was being done. So, and then while they were doing that, it was gaining grounds. And eventually, Göttingen will pick it up, and instead of celebrating Einstein in 2005, they celebrated Gauss. But in celebrating Gauss, they actually celebrated the reign of Gauss and the